Okay, motion blur. Motion blur is one of those things that will allow you to make your After Effects work look way more professional, and you don't have to do all that much work. Now, if you're doing something more fancy where you might have to manually add some motion blur with animation, recommend doing this, but this is a good fix most of the time. So, we have these animations of these circles right here, and we do not have motion blur on in our composition, but we have it turned on the layer. So if we were to play this back, let it load, we have all these different types of animation with these circles. We have a linear one that will just move in a linear line. We can see the spacing on those keyframes is pretty even, or it is even. If we go to this one, we can see that it's bunched up a little bit closer to the beginning and then bunched up a little bit closer to the end, faster in the middle based on the spacing. If we go to ease out, same thing, same principle, and then these bottom two are really fast in some parts, so this one is the beginning, and then really slow in other parts, so really slow in the middle. This one above is really slow at the beginning, really fast in the middle, and then really slow at the end. And what you would think would happen with the way the human brain and the human eyes work is there would be some sort of motion blur. At least that's what we would see in real life. So, to turn on motion blur for your comp, hit that button. And now we can see there's some onion skinning happening, kind of like layers for animation. We can see that as it moves, it's gonna get a little blurrier. And that's really gonna change the look of your animation. So if we let this load and play back, let's set the work area one more time. Just let that play through a couple times. So motion blur is a really easy way for you to make your animations look better without adding all that much more work. And if you ever need to increase the motion blur, you can go to your composition settings and then go to your advanced settings. You can change the shutter angle to, like, let's just say 300. And that's gonna dramatically change the look of the motion blur, but it will also increase your render time. So your choice. Motion blur is a really good way to change the look of things, and it's really going to be based on how fast or slow your objects are moving in your composition. Let's set that back now to 180, so composition settings, advanced, and 180, not 1080. And then let's turn on this echo effect I have. And this will sort of demonstrate, give us an idea of where the pixels are moving over time. So an echo effect is basically, it's just gonna like echo what it was doing in the past and just show you an iteration of that. So we can see the shape of the animation. So this very top one, it's giving us a very sort of linear motion. It's very evenly spaced out. The second one is slow in the beginning, slow in the end, fast in the middle. This next one is very slow in the beginning and then sort of becomes more linear. That is the ease out. And then the opposite of that, the ease in, easing into that animation, it slows down. This super ease one where the ease is very slow at the beginning and the end, but then super speeds up in the middle. We can see that through the spacing of the circles here, and then the inverse of that, slow in the middle, fast at the beginning and end, shown with the echo effect. And this is all because of the motion blur. If I were to turn this layer off, or this feature off rather, let it load for 1 second. Now we're gonna see much harsher edges on that motion blur. So good idea is to not work with motion blur on because it will slow everything down unless you have a beast of a computer. And then turn on your motion blur layers. Let it load. And then motion blur when you render. So make sure it's blue, then hit the render button, Control M, and have all your fun GIF and explainer video stuff and make it look super nice and awesome. So yeah, that's motion blur. Hope you learned what this button does because it's pretty simple, but it can really make or break an animation. Alright, that's today's quick tip. I hope you learned something. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. Like if you learned something, and if you need more help, feel free to hit me up on Instagram. Again, my name is John Jags. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch my face because you're not getting it back, so I hope it was worth it. And I will leave you with this. Eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. You will make some gains, I promise. Alright, goodbye. Goodbye.
Where's my lens cap?
Bye.
Put the place up.